Hi everyone, welcome to this session on custom metrics and reports in HCL Volt MX. In this video, we'll explore custom metrics, custom reports, and dashboards. Custom metrics in Volt MX lets you capture custom app data and build tailored reports using both custom and standard metrics like platform and channel data. You can also create custom dashboards to view all reports in one place. In this session, we'll show you how to create these reports and dashboards with a demo. So let's get started.
So far, we looked at reports that are available more or less out of the box. I mean, for the funnel report, you have to choose the sequence of forms, but you did not have to do any extensive reporting. But the data that we capture from the services, from the user journey, client, backend, everything is available for the developer or the admin or the customer basically to build custom reports. And you also have the data to you also have the ability to capture any data specific from the application. So capturing custom metric from the application, you can enable and basically you can say, for example, if I'm taking the same e-commerce example, for example, for the funnel report that we used, you can capture what was the product SKU, what was the price, and capture those as custom metrics and send it to the backend. You can say them as, the SKU is probably a name, so it is alphanumeric, so it is a string, whereas the price is numerical, so you can keep it as an integer or as a float, and you can keep the appropriate data type, and you can capture that data. And you can capture custom metric from both the client side as well as server side. There are APIs for doing that on both, and you can register the custom metric being captured on the server side so that the server knows what to do with it when the data comes. And the custom report itself is a very simple drag and drop kind of a report building tool. We'll show a demo of that also at the end of it. And the reports can be built for all the custom metric that you captured from the application as well as all the standard application that we have been talking about earlier. So we have a lot of data points to capture and use for building your reports. And you can run this report to see an ad hoc usage at some point of time, or you can build the report and save it so that you can just run it like any other report any point of time in future. And when you're building a report, you can also choose the visibility. So if you're just trying something, you can make it private so it is only visible to the user that is building it, or you can make it public, in which case it will be visible to everybody that is having access to that cloud account, right? So you can choose the visibility as well. So this is a quick look of the visual report designer. You can choose the type of report, you can give it a title, you can choose what are the fields for the rows and the columns. You can choose see the scale, you can see the legend at the bottom. The labels are also shown here. You can set filters so that the report can be seen based on something. You can set that here. You can also create, use them as input parameter when the report is run as a report, so to speak, right? And you can do data calculation. So for example, if it is a measure, if it is data like, number, total duration, for example, you can try to do an sum or average or any other arithmetic operation. We'll see more details while seeing the demo. You can also visualize the data through a lot of different types. You can see a cross tab like an Excel sheet. You can do a table which is showing raw data, and then you have a variety of visualization, column charts, bar charts, stacked bar, spider, line, spline, pie charts, and arc gauges, and bubble trees, and more, right? So you can choose to visualize the data. Some visualizations will only apply to some type of data. For example, a time series kind of a data only will allow a time series kind of a chart, and most of these need some kind of a measure like a count or something for it to be created, but these are all basic report building. Now with that introduction, let's move on to see a demo of the custom reporting capabilities. To see custom or to create custom reports, you can go to the custom report section and then click on create report. And you can see any domain that was created already, or you can go to the standard metrics, which will have all the data that you need. So here you see different types of data. Sessions is talking about user sessions. It has all the fields within that. Requests talk about service requests that are made from the client application to the server, or directly to the API management. So those goes into this. Events go into events such as the user journey events, crashes and stuff go into that event section. So if you're trying to look at crash analytics or form entry and stuff like that, or during crash what was the memory and usage and stuff like that, battery level, those are all will be within the events section, right? Sub requests are if you're having an orchestration service and it calls multiple services, those go into that. If you're making direct API calls, those go into the direct API thing. These are API calls made without using a Foundry client SDK, so like making API management calls directly with the API. So those go into the API request, and API sub request is similar to the other sub requests that I explained to you. Now for this demo, to make it easier to show, I'm going to choose sessions. The reason we have this split is the volume of data in each of them is different. Sessions is fastest because it has a lesser amount of data. Requests and events can have considerably more. So to allow us to build, you can choose multiple of these two, but for brevity, I'm going to just choose the sessions to show how you build custom reports. Once you choose the data, all the fields that are available are visible here. So for example, you have the text kind of data showing at the top, and numerical kind of data, which is called as measure in this case, at the bottom. So this is called as field and measure. But I can convert if I want to, for example, count the number of different applications, so to speak. I can try to make them a number as well, right? So basically I can create a measure from a field too. I can also create a calculated measure, which is using a functionality, an arithmetic operation, so to speak, like all the functions you see here: absolute, average, case, contains, count distinct, and stuff like that. So for example, if I wanted to do a count distinct of the country field that we just saw earlier, I can search for country and say count distinct, and I can create a measure from it, right? So now if I want to use this, there are 57 different countries that it has come from. So if I want to now just see what those countries are, I can click that. So this gives us the different countries from which a call has been made, for example. So this is how you can build custom reports. But let us try to do something a bit more. So you see this data where it is showing all the device models and how many session calls were made for this. I can try to visualize this using different kind of view. For example, I can try to see this in a bar chart, and by default it is showing the total number of calls. I can change this to show the device models, and you see it shows all the device models. There are way too many device models, and this particular one seems to have a lot, so I can click it to make it go away so that I can focus on data for a lot of other things. Now this is still having a lot of data, so I probably want to filter it based on application name. So I can create a filter by application name and say, okay, it is showing all the application names right now. So I choose one off so that I can see all the things. Then I can deselect them and choose only a specific app, so to speak. So let me choose an AA admin and then apply. Now it is going to filter the data based on that specific app and show the data for that. So that probably had way too less. So yeah, so you understand the concept. So basically you can apply filters, you can apply multiple filters as well, and see the data across the date range and stuff like that. And it gives me the answers as web and iOS, and I'm gonna remove this filter and see a different visualization for it. So I want to see a area chart, which is showing me Android, web and iOS. I might want to see them in a date range. So I'm trying to gonna put a timestamp parameter into it. So you'll see a local here as well as a UTC. The local corresponds to the timestamp of the person developing the report, and the UTC is the Zulu time or Greenwich Mean Time, so to speak. So let me add this to a column as well as make it into a filter. So very interesting visualization. There is a lot of data. So I'm going to try and make this into a filter as well. So timestamp I'm going to say is between two time range. So I'm going to say, okay, I just want to see between March 1st and June 1st. So I apply and it filters out only to this date range, and all the other data is filtered out. And I can try to now see this in a time series. And I'm going to move the timestamp to this. So now that we've met the criteria for the time series, where a single row field with time is required, so it was able to redraw and show me how many Android, web and iOS were. So because web is too high, I want to just hide it for the minute to see the other two. I can see the report redraw itself, and I can add more conditions and choose a custom filter expression and say A or B and C and stuff like that. I can give this a title. This I can save it so that I can run it from just like a report in future. So I can just say save ad hoc view and create a report. So I can choose to keep it a private report which is only visible to me, or I can make it shared so that it is visible to others too. So I'm going to try to make it private for both. I'm going to give it a name of time series ad hoc and time series report, and then I can give it a template. I'm just going to save it with the default template for now. So I have saved it, so it said successful. So now I can actually close this, and then when I go to my reporting console, I will be able to see this in the private section, the time series ad hoc that I created, and in the private section I see the ad hoc report. So I can just choose the ad hoc report and click run on it because I've saved it. I saved it with a different timestamp. I can change the timestamp if I want to, and generate the report. So this is now like generating a regular report, with the standard report. So you can see the data and it will redraw based on what was chosen, right? So, and you can export this also as a PDF or an Excel, similar to how we saw with the with the standard reports. Now let's move on to custom dashboard capabilities. So custom dashboard is an extension basically of the capabilities that we saw earlier. So you can build your own dashboard with a combination of all the standard reports as well as the custom reports that you have built. In addition, you can also drag in something like, say, you have a monitoring data from some other endpoint. You can drag that in and view that also as part of one dashboard. The dashboard gives you the capability of, like we saw in the standard dashboard, you can have a common set of input parameters. So if I want to set the date range for a specific thing or a specific app, I can do that and run and see the report for the same. Right. So that is the functionality of a custom dashboard. Building it is very similar. You choose see all the existing content on the left. You drag in, put them in. If you want to add some text, you can add it. If you want to put some, external web link URL, you can do that too. As I said, if you have your own monitoring tool, you can put it in, or any other text. Even if you want to see some news website or RSS or something which is a web link which works, you can put that in. Right. You can add the input controls for them and finalize all the widgets that you want for your dashboard. So for example, in this dashboard, I'm trying to put one external link and 3 other reports, and I'm trying to create a common set of input controls, and I can map the input control so that I can manage it with one set of functionality. So for example, application usage detail is a common thing across multiple of them. I can map them, start date I want to map, end date I want to map, and stuff like that. I can group them and reuse them. And then similar to what we showed with the custom reports, you can save the dashboard with a name, and you can choose the visibility as private or shared, and then you can run it.
To summarize, custom metrics lets you add or remove metrics from your application, while custom reports lets you create, modify, and save reports based on those metrics. A custom dashboard brings it all together, displaying all your reports in a unified view. It can include standard reports, custom reports, input controls to filter data, and custom frames that link to other content. By combining these elements, you can create dynamic and data rich dashboards that provide valuable insights. Thank you for watching, and we hope you found this session insightful. Be sure to explore the rest of Volt Foundry Analytics features through our other videos. For more resources, simply scan the QR code on the screen and don't forget to check the description box for additional details.